Direwolves are just in the way. Legacy, that's the real target. Direwolves are one of the best teams in the region, and the meta definitely suits like them in Legacy with the carry top style. They're one of the good teams in the playoffs. I think Legacy and Direwolves are the biggest threats, but I'm still confident going in. We've been performing pretty well like behind the scenes in scrims, and like I'm happy with how we're going. And I think, yeah, we're going in definitely with the confidence to beat them. It's sad to see Derek go, but it's quite a big event for me because like he was kind of the main reason that I joined Chiefs. Back when I was on Legacy, I was just like, I just want the best AD carry. And then I joined Chiefs because like Radiant was the best AD carry. And so like, it's sad to see that like kind of era gone, where I won't be playing with Derek. But I think overall it's probably going to be a beneficial change for us. But yeah, it's quite sad. Notable weaknesses, I guess. For both teams, I think it'll be bot lanes because like they'll both be brand new. So it'll kind of be because the rest of the team has been playing against each other for a while.
Welcome back to the OPL semi-final night 2. My name is Michael Hingersing, and I'm joined here at the desk by Jake Spontiberry and Barenta Raz Mohammed.
And I've seen the end of that video. So pretty much what he says is, you know, both bottom lanes and you, they're going to be shaky. So, like, it's pretty much going to be like a solo queue style 2v2 battle down there. Like, they just need to be able to play towards the top side of that, pretty much.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, maybe we'll come back to it.
You wait till the end of the broadcast, then it's going to happen.
Let me ask you guys, I mean, let's talk about Ejim. He was just in that thing talking about how, in that video, talking about how he joined Chiefs because of Radiant. Radiant is obviously just swapped. If you're just joining us, we're about to go into game 3. Chiefs are up 2-0. How much has Ejim had to do with that 2-0 victory that they're kind of enjoying right now?
Come on, Lepasm. What do you got for me?
Jeez. He must be feeling pretty good.
Yep.
Maybe a little bad that Ejim kind of got stomped a little bit by the Jinx.
Yep.
A little bit.
I think that all that matters is if you go back and watch Game 1 again, the Jhin 4th bullet killed Ejim. So, you know, he's playing well, but Radius killed him already, so I think that Radius won up in that one. No, in all seriousness, however, Bryce is a really good Braum player, and they keep picking Gragas into it. And when people pick Gragas into your Braum, makes you look like a superstar, because you can really shut down everything his kit wants to do. So I'm a little bit annoyed that Sybil's gone back to that Crux pick twice.
So the Chiefs now have the possibility to shut this out and do a 3-0 if they take this game. So this might be the last game we see tonight. You know, maybe the Direwolves will come back. We obviously saw big improvements between Game 2 and Game 1. So let's talk about like MVPs so far in this series. Who are you picking as like people you're enjoying so far? Raz, you want to go first?
I would say Spooks. I think Spooks has been doing incredibly well, been pathing incredibly well. When they won the first set, it was based off his gank. And Direwolves, I want to go ahead and say Pantix, perhaps. I think he's had some good moments.
Yeah, I would say I'm probably going to go towards the support player for the Chiefs. I think that Ejim really is having a good performance. I think that he is nullifying a lot of the engages, and I would give it to Regret. I think that when Regret starts fights, Direwolves win. When Fantix starts fights, Direwolves lose. So let the Alistar start the fight.
All right, well then let's just talk about this Game 3 we're about to go into then. What do Direwolves have to do to get back into this series? What changes do you want to see? They're obviously improving from Game 1 to Game 2. Game 3 could be the time that they turn it around, right?
So I sat Ejim down and I said, Bryce, what happens if they lock in Alistar? And then all of a sudden, Radiant last picks a Kalista, and you have to deal with the Kalista Alistar lane. They had a funny name for it if you ask them off screen. And he said he's not going to be very happy about it. I think, honestly, that the reason I bring it up with Kalista is you need better neutral control against the Chiefs. A big swinging points of both these games have been their control over dragons, and the RNG gods have finally smiled on them, giving them a lot of the Infernals, a lot of the mountains. So get something that controls objectives a little bit better in the early games and see if you can fight them a little bit earlier on.
And I'll take it to the next step. I think they should get some lane control because every series they have no lane control, the Direwolves specifically. And so they can never get to these objectives on time because they are always getting pushed in on. And my greatest fear for the Direwolves is that they'll look at that last game and say, this is great. Our composition worked out well for us. And technically it did, but it's incredibly risky. And I think they should actually have priority in at least one lane, if not two.
I mean, we also saw in that video, Ejim was saying this bot lane's going to be crazy. It's going to be a mess. this series. Talk us through how crazy it's been, or how kind of what your thoughts are on it.
Ejim's a liar. And the reason he is because I know for a fact that he has played with Rays before he was a Chief player.
Sure.
Because, when 80 carries aren't online, you get matched with a lot of these guys. And I know for a fact that Regret and Raider have played together in the past as well. And 2v2 laning, there's a lot of nuances later game about it, about if you have a peeling support primarily or a diving support, things like that. And I think that they both came from very similar supports. So if you're going to compare two Oceanic supports, it is probably going to be Regret and Ejim anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that I think that that interview was a lie, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm agree with that.
I think when we had Ejim on the desk a couple of weeks ago, he said, look, if you had to take me out and put someone else in, I think he might have picked Regret.
Yeah, he did. 100% he picked Regret. No,
Yeah.
I know that. And we always play the games, if you were to pick a team of 5
Who you gonna
players, and you're not
draft?
allowed to pick a Chiefs member
Yeah.
or a Legacy member, who do you take? And
Yeah.
they do take those players.
Yeah. Raz, do you have any thoughts on bot lane so far? Bot lane so far in this series?
So far, the worst thing about the trade, you'd want it to honestly be something that's this is gonna mean the world, right? It's gonna really impact these teams. 80 carries, they just focus on the farming point.
Yeah,
aspect of
exactly
the game.
right. So far, Raze has only played the Lucian, which was what Radiant was stuck on, and Radiant's just playing whatever the heck he wants, like Raze was doing on the Direwolf. So
right.
I think right now it's all right.
Well, that is just about enough from us here at the Analyst Desk. Let us get into Game 3 and throw it over to your casters, Atlas and Rusty.
Thank you very much, Hingers. Excited to get into game number 3. Hopefully we get a game number 4. I mean, I'm not biased towards the Direwolves, anything like that, but I want more League of Legends tonight, and I think that the Direwolves can do it. Game 2 looked better. Of course, some troubling points brought up on the desk, but we'll see whether they can nullify those going into this draft.
The Australian in you is screaming right now, Atlas. It's saying underdog, come back. But it's going to be a hard thing to do against the Chiefs. That draft, whilst we said there's going to be a couple of problems there, we'll see if they can actually fix those things. Because, picking the Gragas into a Braum, never going to make you look good. They found themselves with a 6,000 gold lead in a draft that wasn't perfect for them, and they were really close to winning that game, but close is not going to be enough against the Chiefs. This experienced side will bounce back hard.
Certainly will, as once again, exactly the same bands for the Direwolves. Talia, LeBlanc, Karma, Malzahar, Vladimir, Siva. Where I've seen this one before, Rusty. We're calling for a Gragas, and I just want Regret to pick Braum. Just do it.
So I agree with that. They should pick the Braum, but the Aurelia is also there as a big deal that they may want to look towards for the first pick.
Yeah.
Has performed well, does do a lot of work. We are seeing the deja vu where I'm surprised the priorities haven't changed.
And you can see Spook's laughing, and I think he's laughing because he's like, well, I guess we're picking the same ones again, boys. After, of course, Swiper hovers, allow Tryndamere and Renekton, because otherwise he can't do that. Spook has got to sit on a Mumu for a little while as well.
It's funny that we know they're hovers more than actual champions. Goes to Swiffer and he's like, oh, look, Vladimir or Nunu or something that we lost with internationally.
Anivia, Nunu, Yeah, all of that sort of stuff has to come in.
There we
it
go.
is.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, so we're waiting on the Tryndamere.
Renekton, and then Braum.
Braum
and
Lucian to be locked in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Swiper. Actually, all seriousness here in game number 3. Didn't get a Tryndamere. Didn't get a Renekton.
Oh, we
Spooks,
go.
Whoa, changing it up. Picks up the Nidalee. That is going to be Braum picked up, and I think that Raze wants to change things. Wants to move over to, hopefully, the Jhin, because his Jhin is so good.
Yeah, that Nidalee lock-in's actually quite different from the Chiefs. 6.15 has seen a couple of changes. Nidalee, the pounce does more damage, but you can't auto-attack reset. And so your jungle clear suffers by 4 seconds. Oh no, it's 3:14 now instead of 3:10. What a disaster.
Oh dear.
Is still a good jungler through and through. And of course, the base spear damage is up by 10. So
Yeah,
if
and
you're
actually a
hitting
lot
someone
of
next to you-
early game damage has been increased on
Yeah.
the Nidalee to make up for the fact that you can't do all of those fancy maneuvers where you eat a ward and then switch around and kill it again, and what even is the form that this champion is, all that sort of stuff. I like it. It's less confusing to someone like me. Direwolves now looking to make their minds up. Oh, Regret. Moving back to the Lucian Thresh bottom lane for Radiant and Regret. The wife steal coming in. The first champion I ever saw Regret play years and years ago was Thresh, and he was always a beast.
Yeah, he's a good playmaking player. Regret loves to get those hooks off and start fights, and will work out well with the combo that they've got for themselves. Unfortunately, they're missing the other part of the hook combo. Chippies won't play a Nautilus, and Fantix can't play LeBlanc because it's banned.
That is true. But
So-
he could play Blitzcrank. Who knows? Mid lane Blitzcrank? What do you reckon? You're a bit of a hipster mid laner.
Yeah, definitely not.
No? Not a fan?
No, there's limits to everything. Mid lane Blitzcrank's not one of those things that you would delve into.
This is coming from the mid lane AP Lucian player as well. Phew, I'm just overstepping my bounds as Raze is looking at the Jhin. There's Swiffer's Cassiopeia one more time. Saving Swiper's pick until last once again. That is going to be the Jhin locked in. So lots of long-range engage potential out of this team now with the Spear and the Deadly Flourish.
Yeah, and I still feel like we have to bring this back towards champion priority in the drafting phase, which is a big question mark currently marking the Direwolves. The Chiefs have got themselves 4 strong champions that they can play. The Jhin makes sense as a response to the Lucian.
Yeah.
But the Cassiopeia could have been picked by Fantix. Instead, they go for a Thresh when a Braum's already there. Not only that, they get the Braum into the Gragas. So the Chiefs right now are set up quite well to deal with what the Direwolves have to offer.
Yeah, and they've dealt with what the Direwolves were offering, but also just picking for themselves for the composition that they want to be putting together
Absolutely.
so beautifully.
It does mean that the next pick from the Direwolves could be that wild card in the middle lane. Fantix has the deepest pockets of all mid lane players.
And is also one of the best Twisted Fate players, which is still open.
And Chippy's always has the Jax to fall back on or the Aurelia to pick for himself. Even a Fiora, if he understands that top lane will probably be an Aurelia he's against.
Well, it is going to be the Aurelia and Kassadin one more time. So a bit of a change up as far as early game AD carry is concerned for Radiant, but otherwise everything pretty similar. Just the Thresh switched out for the Alistar, and Raz did actually raise some concerns about staying to a very similar style here for the Direwolves because it can be risky.
Definitely can be. The only change is actually the Thresh. If we compare it to their last team composition, their engage was the Alistar.
Yeah.
So that's sorely missing now, and instead they've got Pick, which means a slightly different strategy. We'll see how they actually implement that strategy, because it comes down to the execution, the vision, the setup, the being at the objectives at the right time. Ultimately, the draft is less of a deal than it is how they play in-game.
One thing I am looking at for the Direwolves, though, is the fact that they have a clearly aggressive bottom lane in this Lucian and Thresh. So we'll be able to bring it to the Chiefs early on. Of course, the Jinx Alistar did far better than I was expecting, honestly,
Ooh,
in the
he did
laning
it.
phases. There's the Renekton. He just got buffed. Of course, Swiper was very, very vocal on Twitter about it, said they're giving him buffs. They've been giving him buffs this whole time. Is he back? Well, looks like Swiper's decided that he is. When he uses his ultimate, he does get some rage. That is the buff.
He gets
Not
20 Fury when
20
he activates
Fury!
it,
Oh, yeah.
and does an extra 10 damage or something over the time that he has it.
Yeah, so it does barely nothing.
So it's not the biggest deal, but Swiper has been playing a lot of Renekton. He has been said to have the preferences of one single champion at any time that he solo queues, and Renekton is his current squeeze.
Always has been, let's be honest.
Absolutely. But this time around, he is able to lock it in. Of course, 2-0 up, the Chiefs can pick in a confidence champion in that top lane. Swiper and Renekton in general can be a little bit hit or miss.
Yeah.
Especially when you combine the two and the sporadic nature that is the Renekton. But you win lane hard.
Most certainly do. And we'll see what Swiper's going to go for as far as item builds as well, because things have changed since the last time we saw Renekton. And of course, always dominant early game, but falls off towards the later stage.
And Aurelia is always going to be a big deal as the game progresses. There's going to be a lot of trade-offs again between both of these teams when we look at the drafting phases. Direwolves barely changing a thing, only the Thresh to be seen as a different pick to the Alistar. So pick instead of team fighting, perhaps. They've got a bit more utility in saving people as well, so if the Kassadin goes in, can take the Lantern out. But that's where the Cassiopeia comes into play. Place the W down, stop them from taking any dashes or movements, and kill that person. The Braum also going to be there to counter the Gragas. And so it's really important that what the Direwolves do in this game is perfect.
Yeah, and that's a brilliant thing to bring up as well, because Miasma is such a problem for those Bard players that want to Magical Journey people out, for the Lantern players as well. I hadn't even thought about that. As you can see, the players' confidence on the Chiefs at the moment, and the Direwolves right up against the wall. You can see now moving out onto the Rift, setting up as 4 members as Fantix is towards the middle lane. We'll see whether they can get anything going early on. And you mentioned Pick. We'll see whether Regret can find it.
And speaking of Pick, if there's one thing the Chiefs do have, Spears, Braum Qs, and Poison to come out of Swiffer that can be locked down and followed up upon by Raze. And the strength of a Cassiopeia Jhin combo is that you can't flash, you can't use mobility spells to dodge the Jhin W, and you're slowed on top of that Miasma.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a 95% hit chance.
It's just brutal. And if the Chiefs can once again be graced by the Mountain Infernal combination of dragons, then the Jhin Cassiopeia composition is going to be extraordinarily happy about it.
Absolutely right. And that's one big thing that we have to point out. The objective control that the Chiefs have had when it comes to Drakes in particular has been outstanding.
And they've got the Cassiopeia again here in game number 3. Gave it over in game 1, picked it up in game 2. Swiffer looked fantastic, solo killing Fantix before he hit that level 6 mark. Really looking good. We'll see whether Spooks is going to be able to create as much pressure this game on the Nidalee as opposed to the Elise. More about jungling, killing all of the camps that are on the map as quickly as possible, as opposed to killing the champions.
And I will say Nidalee's seen a lot of touch-ups so that you don't have a you have an increased cooldown on your pounce reset.
Yeah.
When they are on top of a trap and they are hunted, which means that he wants to start at an area of the map ideally where he can get a leash or an assist from somebody on his team. And so if you were on the side of the Direwolves looking for where the Nidalee may start on the Rift, you would expect it to be top lane. So you can maybe predict where he's going to be at around the 2-minute 30 to 3-minute mark.
Yeah, it would be very useful for the Direwolves. He's Radiant, clears out the wave, gets Deadly Flourish though, and actually loses the trade against Raze as he was putting some bullets back in the chamber.
That was a lot of damage.
Yeah, it was. Speaking of a lot of damage, Swiffer hits level 2, just stops. Says, no. I want to kill some creeps. Yeah, that's his move.
Juked him, keeping Fantix down as much as he can. Of course, this matchup goes... Actually, let's hold that thought.
Yeah, level 2 gained by Swiper, uses the... Yeah, that was beautiful. So Slice and Dice, able to get him out, just steps back, goes through chippies. No flash used.
Sybil actually uses his as well. Big mistake from the Gragas. That's not how he should have actually executed that. It should have been a body slam reactive flash.
Yeah.
To try and catch the person dashing away from you. But Swiper shows his mastery of the champion already. And at 3 minutes into this game, survives the gank with no HP lost.
Not a problem at all. And now continues to push things up. Has a ward down as well, so will spot Sybil. Raze, just telling people to smile. They're probably not going to, because he keeps shooting them. That doesn't make people smile, Raze. Not how that works. Spooks now once again getting his counter jungle on, not going to find any Krugs.
That's not entirely true. If someone says smile, like they're taking a photo of you,
oh yeah, I guess that's cool.
I do try not to smile. Like, I try really hard, but you can't help it.
Yeah, so just telling people to smile is going to make them smile no matter what you're doing. I don't know. I think I just smile by default a lot of the time. It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing?
Yeah, you know, you just look like a grinning idiot all the time. When we're back on camera, guys, you'll see. It'll be fun. Swiffer, now just clearing out minions underneath his turret. Fantix doing quite well here in this matchup, but Swiffer will be able to even it out. Maybe come out ahead just a little bit once these minions die.
And Cassiopeia quite good at last hitting under the turret. You can see him only using Twin Fangs because it refreshes the mana that it costs to use it.
Yep.
So every time he last hit a minion, he doesn't lose anything for it.
Cleans this one up. Fantix still throwing out Qs though, and actually has the health lead currently in this lane, but he's also got quite a few people coming over here from the bottom side of the map as Fantix just going to walk off towards the top side. Spook's not going to pounce on top of him. Fantix keeps his flash this time, 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, Chiefs don't actually know where Sybil is, and he wasn't near there at all. But they have to play on the safe side. There's this top lane starting to cop a beating here. Swiper already a fair bit behind in CS and tries to fight with the minion wave back, and Chippies is made to pay.
Dangerous stuff here. And of course, Chippies has that sustained advantage, utilizing his corrupting potion as Swiper does get the stun underneath the turret. Flash has to be used to get Chippies out, dodges the spear. Spook's not going to be able to find it there, and Swiper, now of course, utilizing that Q, gets the health back. Nice hook lands here on the bottom side of the map. Double play as well as Raze has to get exhausted. Radier looking for it. Lots of damage comes out, but Raze flashes himself out. There's the Q. Heal comes out, and Ejim's safe.
Yeah, very barely lives there, though. If he was in range after that dash to auto-attack once more, might have locked it down. And we talk about these minion waves coinciding with damage taken. Sybil's going to push them off.
There's the flash play. Ejim slowed, gets out of the way of one of the attacks, but Radier still able to get work done. Teleport comes in from Swiper though, and Ejim survives somehow.
Swiffer's also here.
There's the flash. Swiper gets the slice. Sybil getting taken down low, but does he have the dice? No, he doesn't, as Fantix is going to turn up. Good force pulse for the slow, but there's first blood. Swiffer flashes, grabs it. The poison goes down at a Fantix, and they're not done yet. Good hook as Regret uses the last of his mana. The Chiefs will probably have to back away now.
Yeah, so the Chiefs get everything that they wanted out of that, though. First blood onto the Cassiopeia. Set up well again in this lane. Unfortunately, being level 5 to 6 means that he might die right now.
Yeah, getting taken down extraordinarily low as Fantix kills him. Okay, yeah, Spook's now looking for it.
Whoa,
but
look,
he's
he
got
got
the
Spooks.
Rift Walk.
He'll kill you.
Exactly right. Almost has the W reset. Spooks pounces his way out. He's flirting with danger as this Nidalee.
Kassadin has flash, so if he chooses to stay under this turret and last hit these minions, he is flirting with his own life. But again, gets that kill. Swiffer. Both summoner spells used in that middle lane. Level 5 to level 6, and the Thunderlord's available. Very simple cleanup here for Fantix, as you can see.
Yeah, it was just looking to try and kite it out. And Fantix says, no, I'm just going to right-click you. And that came out trumps. Currently 2 CS ahead, but with that kill, it's going to be a very different Kassadin in this game as far as power spikes.
But we're still seeing the contrast in this top lane. Going for the Renekton, not an Alawi, means the lane control is starting to suffer. Chippies, fantastic Aurelia, and just top laner in general. Now starting to get a CS lead amassed towards his favor.
Sybil is 2 levels behind Spooks, who pounces on top, has to use the flash to get out. Now Spooks still looking. Chippies does have to be careful after that. Jungle battle is won by the Chiefs.
And now a movement from the Chiefs, actually. They're looking towards the top side of the map. They've got Swiper building a wave, and they are about to crash. Not only that, Spooks has advantage because of the 2 levels that he has, and now they threaten the dive.
Well, there's the Dominus. Deadly Flourish comes in as well. Raze helps out, and Swiper gets a well-earned kill. The Chiefs put the pressure on and take down this turret as well.
Absolutely right. So they will get that first blood on the turret by 4 people being here. This was quite telegraphed, honestly, but the Direwolves' response does not exist. They're completely pushed away. Chippies does not respect the potential dive and suffers.
And Swiper now trying to deny all of these minions as well. Does have to be a little bit careful because one of these creeps can be teleported too, and Swiper gets himself all of that gold. He's going to be so close to that Black Cleaver by the looks. As he heads back next time, this matchup could go back the other way.
They don't get the Rift Herald for him, but that turret gold's going to be a blessing for that Renekton. Had to teleport in early to try and help his bottom lane out during that dive. And it works out for him. Look at the difference between them.
Yeah.
And there's still a 9 CS advantage for the Aurelia.
That is silly. 900 gold? My goodness.
650 in the kill that he achieved when looking for that dive. It really does sway the strength of top lane. 6.15 is a rough top lane patch. You either win or you lose in competitive quite heavily.
Yeah, seems to snowball pretty out of control as Swiffer starting to struggle here against Fantix. Just gets Rift walked on. Does avoid damage from that Force Pulse as Swiffer does find himself some extra poison. Spooks heads over the side, will find this ward quite effectively. Swiper unneeded here in this mid lane as he was rotating over.
Yeah, Fantix was looking to zone, but by missing that Force Pulse, pushes himself out of this lane. That move speed that the Cassiopeia gets when Poison connects can keep on you.
Yeah.
And the trades with the Negatron Cloak are going to be quite handy for Swiffer, whose sustain does increase that passive given Spell Vamp.
Yeah, of course. Still level behind though. Fantix liking those levels as Spooks is going to turn up Miasma over to the side, but doesn't catch him in the Rift Walk. Swiffer just shoves the wave through. And the Chiefs now thinking about
Play
moving
bottom.
towards the bottom side. Yeah, teleport coming in from Chippies as he turns up. Lantern going to be taken. Radiant throws down the culling as they're looking to try and corral the Chiefs, but Spooks, he turns up here as well. There's going to be 5 members. Curtain call for Raze, who turns it onto Chippies. Doesn't have the bullets, but he split the fight beautifully. Regret now flashes into
Chippies
the
is
line of
stuck.
fire. Chippies as well. He's moved over. Transcendent Blades comes in, but Regret falls down first. Swiffer grabs that kill. Now Raze keeping himself safe. Deadly Flourish onto Sybil, who throws out the ultimate, but doesn't achieve too much. Dominus is going to wear off soon there from Swiper, but still has a lot of health. And Fantix waiting in the wings. The Chiefs just brute force.
Yeah, they actually do it, but a really good keg from Sybil with the purpose of disengaging is enough to keep everybody alive. The decision was to kill Regret, not to look for Chippies, and now they move towards the objective. Sybil's in the area. He doesn't have flash, so if he gets over that wall, he's dead.
Yeah, but can't actually do it over the Miasma as well, so they will be able to lock down the Dragon. Now 5 members of the Chiefs looking to try and disengage as Ejim relatively low and Swiffer without mana. So Direwolves now looking for this mid lane, and if they can get this turret, could be a good trade.
It definitely could be. No turrets were traded on the bottom side after the pick was achieved. They chose the Drake instead. They're putting so much priority onto that.
Spear somehow weaves through and finds Fantix. Swiffer and Spooks have to be careful. Swiffer still very, very low on the mana. Throwing out poison, and this turret is slowly but surely falling down. Nice hook lands onto the Snake Lady, who flashes out of the way. There's the ultimate as Radiant has been stunned up, wants to take the lantern, but can't step on it. Has to flash instead, doesn't use the heal actually, but does get healed up. It's going to be okay.
They made a decision, and the hook connected, but they weren't able to follow that up and get enough damage down to find the kills, and the Chiefs have rotated soon enough. So whilst that turret doesn't go down mid, they expended most of their time towards attempting it. Now Chiefs are able to pressure them out and force them to go back. Could mean the Rift Herald is now picked up by the Chiefs for free, which means they go from Drake to Herald, and then the turrets will be starting to be looked towards. Look at the top laners and the items between them right now.
Oh my goodness.
Black Cleaver to components. One big thing about the Black Cleaver is the same reason Fiora wins this lane and a lot of Black Cleaver users win this lane is you get it before the Trinity Force is there.
Well, Swiper has certainly done that. He's still ahead by about 1,000 gold. Now with the Rift Herald, this is silly. Sybil is turned up, but unable to affect anything. Takes a Deadly Flourish as Raze is able to at least poke him out just a bit. But it's 1-0-2 now, and despite the fact that Swiper is behind, it's not a big deal as play is going to be used. Good body slam as Swiffer now stuck against the wall, taking a lot of damage. Fantix gets over there, and Rady is able to grab the kill, I believe, with a pretty stylish Ardent Blaze.
It does appear that way, so Direwolves get the kill onto Swiffer. The hook connects, and this is big from Direwolves, namely from Regret. He's starting to fire up. He's hitting them all.
I like it, especially because it's non-committal CC as well. Can throw out the hook, decide whether or not to go in. Direwolves take that turret.
It gives the opportunity for a body slam to connect as well instead of just throwing out the Gragas.
Yeah.
Explosive cast. Added utilities there.
Well, cute little Water Blade Surge gets Chippies to safety from Spooks, who was looking for a gank. Swiper now in control of this lane completely. Nothing really in it around the map as well. I mean, Spooks ahead by about 20, but this is expected in the matchup. Nidalee wants to farm a whole lot more.
Yeah, there's no redeeming features for either team. They're just scaling again.
Yeah.
A scaling composition still to be seen from the Direwolves, though, by having the Kassadin with an Aurelia. They will still get there. And you'd expect that they can just hold on and get towards the late game. But a Black Cleaver on that Renekton is still able to empower a Jhin in mid-game. And Cassiopeia is able to hold it down for scaling them themselves. So really, you're just going to be matched in different areas from both of these teams as they hit late game if they do.
And Chiefs once again have one of these heavy neutral control compositions that we have been seeing come into vogue a lot across the world. It just means that as soon as they sit into that Baron pit, they will have a lot of control. Swiper can use that dominance and really go nuts. And of course Swiffer with so much consistent damage. Just very scary.
Swiper slightly underleveled here. But in the 1v1, he'd outright have a lot more control. His levels don't mean too much until, as we mentioned in that last game, the 11 point for Fantix.
Yeah.
Where his ultimate cooldown goes down 2 seconds, not including cooldown reduction.
Rather close to it now. Has just hit level 10. Waiting for this minion wave to turn up. Decent little stun there from Swiper. Tanks up the turret as well, but isn't too worried. Building that rage one more time. Force Pulse there from Fantix helps him with the minion wave as Hook lands onto Spooks. Gets flayed out of the pounce. Cute little Thunderlords there.
Yeah.
Smacks him in the back of the head.
So I don't think he actually needed to flay there. He could have just put the box up.
Ah, yeah.
Could have caught Spooks out. Sybil was nearby, as was the Lucian for rotation, so Radio was available. That was an attempted blue buff steal by Spooks. It would have been the second of its kind this game by the Nidalee. Not to be seen.
Fantix actually able to pick that one up for himself as well, so no real pressure put on. 112 CS for these mid laners who are in opposite lanes at the moment. Radiant has equaled the Ghost Blade that Ray's picked up. Slight CS lead for the Direwolves 80 carry. And has himself that kill, so that's why he's ahead by those boots. Chippy's now taking some control back. And Raze and Ejim are going to move in to say nope.
There's 3 people here, and they know there's no vision, so that's why Ejim jumps forward. Regret's making his way in, is that?
Yeah, looking for the 1v2. Actually flashes out of the way. There's the curtain call as Chippy's tagged by 1. Takes himself a lantern. He'll get out to Regret. Chiefs missed a few abilities there.
Yeah, and the Lantern also pushes Direwolves out of the lane, but Radar rotating once again.
Ooh, Miasma used after the Relentless Pursuit, so already able to get out.
Just in time. And still we're waiting for something to break here. It's 1 turret apiece. 2 turrets for the Direwolves at the moment. So a slight edge in that respect. The Chiefs are just trying to hold on.
Yeah, Regret actually taking a spear. Hook lands onto Ejim, doesn't get the door up in time. Deadly Flourish misses, but Fantix turns up. A lot of damage potential here as the Chiefs are teleporting in, but Chippies, he's got a good flank. Swiper turns up, Dominus is there, good barrel, but Swiper gets back on top. Spooks is going to die though, Fantix going nuts. Chippies is low as Swiper's trying to deal with the rest of these members. Fantix looking for Raze, but can he find it? There is Radier. He's looking for Ejim. His former support's going to go down. Double kill for Swiper in the backline as Swiffer's able to get one too, but Radier, he's cleaning up. Raze still alive, but gets underneath the turret, and now Radier says, oh no, I'm on the wrong side of the map.
A long way to go, but he should get out perfectly fine. The Chiefs are able to even that fight out reactively to the Direwolves roster going in. It works out nicely, honestly.
Yeah, 2 for 3 trade in favor of the Chiefs. And Swiper actually a big benefactor in that one.
So he was huge, and that's the thing. Gets into the back line immediately from that teleport, actually setting the fight up so that he was in the back line as the teleport was completed. Doesn't necessarily pick up kills at the forefront of it, but does stand out at the end as the biggest deal, doing the most damage.
The double kill really important. Now goes back, gets himself the Merc Treads completed as well as his first Giant spell. See whether he goes to any other sort of damage items as he moves forward. Of course, Renekton, one of the reasons why he falls off a little bit late game is because you have to just be a meat shield.
Second Mountain Drake to be seen from the Chiefs if they choose to take this one down. Nidalee, Cassiopeia, the composition. You already mentioned their neutral objective, control. It's going to remain prevalent.
Certainly is.
Get the cannon, Regret. Hey. As a support, I am tilted.
Yeah, I know, right? And Radier was like, come on, hey, you leap. But he took it. It's fine. At least someone killed the cannon creep. I mean, that's what gets me, is when they're just left for nothing.
You never get AD carries that are that selfless as well.
Yeah. Well, Fantix is actually looking for Swiper. Slice and Dice comes in. He's looking to try and get back underneath this turret. Dominus goes down, but 1 versus 4. Bit more than he can chew, even if he is a crocodile. And Direwolves will take down this outer turret. But look at the Chiefs. They're on the inner, on the bottom side. This is a base race the Direwolves don't want. You can see the backs already coming in.
Yeah, they're a turret behind, so if they start racing in that respect, they will lose the race. They are still pushing forward. They're hoping to get the 2 for 2 in terms of turrets.
Well, actually,
I don't know if Sybil can outright stop this when Braum's there. He probably could have blocked those minions, Ejim. The decision wasn't there.
but Chippies is going to get an inner turret as well. It's actually going to be 3 taken down by the Direwolves, and I honestly like it.
It does work out to be a fantastic trade. I mean, the fact that Sybil was able to stop them by himself. As I said, Ejim could have stopped it with the door, and they could have pressured it for, maybe forced more recalls out of the Direwolves. They didn't do it, and the Direwolves do come out ahead.
Grab themselves the gold lead for what feels like the first time in this series. Although it's not, because of course they had a 7k gold lead in the second game. The Chiefs have had a lot of control and grabbed themselves another dragon. Now we'll see whether the map opening up will help the Dials, as Chippy's on a bit of an excursion.
Gets a red buff.
Yeah.
He's able to walk it out. Takes almost too much from the Chiefs, but does get out alive. That Aurelia is still big. Swiper is just slightly bigger. And that Kassadin is getting there.
He most certainly is. Abyssal Scepter now done. 4 stacks on the Dark Seal. Decided to go for the Lucidity Boots this time, so already 20% CDR. And Fantix, quite achiever this game, honestly, on 3-1 and 2.
Yeah, definitely has been. Stepped up from that last game. Still once again running the teleport, so the 1-3-1's always there.
Yeah.
Direwolves didn't change much between games 2 and 3. It's just that Thresh Hook. There's no longer a Pulverize. They no longer have a Moo Cow.
Well, actually, double teleport is coming off cooldown right now, approximately. And there are wards all through this Chiefs jungle on the top side. And look at where Raze is. Pretty dangerous, as Raid is going to take down his red buff.
He needs to recall now. But they also have vision or awareness of where Chippies is, so... Respect is shown, they back away. The Chiefs, meanwhile, are still pressuring on that side of the map, so Raze has a bit more comfort to fall back upon.
It's a good point. Swiper as well now on the bottom side of the map with his teleport. Dials looking to try and prevent any early Baron buff shenanigans because it is a real possibility that the Chiefs take it down right now.
It's all about that blue steel, but now they've got...
Oh
No, they
my
don't.
goodness, the pounce came out as Spooks. It doesn't even matter. He's going to fall down. Radiant grabs the kill, and that's the jungler. Big deal for Direwolves is now they can put the pressure on.
They definitely can. It's that Baron buff. Swiper has teleport. He is going to be near enough to be being able to get in the area. But without that jungler there, control in the Chiefs' side of the map is waning.
Yeah.
And Swiffer needs to show that same caution that Raze was earlier.
He has pushed this one out. Radiant just going to catch the minion wave. Playing with reckless abandon here in this mid lane. Looking very comfortable on the Lucian. You mentioned that he loves the pick. Of course, played it in his last 3 games for the Chiefs.
Well, that was the real challenge, right?
Yeah.
Was Raze playing it simply just to take it from Rayder, or is Raze playing it because Raze wants to play it? Rayder 301, I think we know the answer to that because Raze is a fantastic Jhin player who would have preferred it, honestly.
I feel so as well. And I feel like it is going to be a really good late game insurance policy here because Raze, he went legendary in his series against Legacy, but it wasn't until after the mid game that he did manage to do that.
Hill has the mid-game item build coming along nicely once the Maw is there. Slight defensive nature in it, but he's against a Cassidy and Gragas who want to be locking him down and does need the resistance as well as the shield. And
So it happens again in the mid lane. Regret decides not to auto-attack the creep. Sorry, it was an important update.
I've already been tilted once.
I'm sorry.
Now we've come full circle.
Not what we wanted.
No longer. Regret just going to stop lasting minions, honestly, it's fine.
Done it 18 times.
Change over to Ancient Coin. Call it a day.
Well, does still just have the Relic Shield, actually, not going for any Face of the Mountain Rush, as his Ruby Sightstone, as well as his Aegis of the Legion.
He'll probably end up selling it, unless he goes Face of the Mountain build, which is possible. A lot more supports are opting towards Face of the Mountain.
Did a single target pick out of the Chiefs as well, so having that shield for one of his teammates will be good.
Yeah, combine that with the Locket shield that you get as well from upgrading the Aegis. A lot of shield.
It certainly is. Radiant has to take himself a Lantern out, but Swiffer now with the Rylai's Crystal Scepter has to be so respected in a 1v1. Bork lands onto Spooks again, yeah, but not going to find it. Doesn't follow it up.
Still control of the area. So Swiper's on the bottom side of the map with Chippies. Indicates both of these teams are prioritizing the Baron.
Good Deadly Flourish comes in. We are going to have a slight pause, as I'm not sure what happened there. It might have been that Sybil felt like he couldn't take the Lantern, but that was because he was standing on Miasma, so you're not allowed to take the Lantern at that point.
Yeah, not sure what happened there, but here we are.
Yeah, hi. And look, we are getting towards the end of that that mid game. We're talking about Raze as being sort of a real power point here for the Chiefs potentially. Hasn't done too much. 0-0-2 now. And is now the time for the Jhin to shine. Is it the 2-item spike that's about to come in as he grabs either the Maw of Malmortius or heads for that Duskblade to leave the Hex Drinker? Like, is this going to be about the Jhin?
Definitely. They've got the Nidalee who can throw out spears as well. So as they set up for these objectives, it becomes more and more important for Direwolves to be there on time, or the Jhin can run away with it. 2 Mountain Drakes to be seen as well by the Chiefs. So think about the Baron control that they'll have, the turret speed with which they can take them down, and the future Drakes that come up. The Chiefs can actually just take them quicker than the Direwolves can react, and that seems to be a repeat occurrence this series from the Direwolves. They're just never there on time.
Yeah, it's not quite working out, and the Chiefs have been able to get all of that vision control around the area as well. They've made sure that they've been pressuring the map very, very effectively, and it just feels like Direwolves are playing the Chiefs game of League of Legends, and what they need to do right now, I feel, is make sure that they can catch them out. They managed to get Spooks, they got that really cute hook, but then not a lot came from it, and I feel like decisive play. Move straight to the Baron after that, you know, secure it for yourself. So we're having a look at the bottom lane of the Chiefs right now. Raze looking pretty comfortable in his Chiefs jersey.
Definitely is. Again, a lot of focus has been around grouping up from the Direwolves, getting those thresh hooks and assassinating people with the follow-up damage. There's also the added bonus of them being able to put a Kassadin in a side lane or put an Aurelia with a Kassadin in a different side lane. They can run a 2-3, they can run a 1-3-1. They've got the 4-1 that they're doing as their stock standard strategy. There is availabilities there for the Direwolves where the Chiefs, they want to throw the spears, they want to have the Jhin to follow it up, lock you down, and actually cause a lot of potential discomfort from the opposite team.
Yeah, and I actually really like that you mentioned the 1-3-1 like possibility as well, because the Dials recently got their teleports back up, and I feel like just going straight back into that, and Raz was indicating the fact that they haven't had control of their minion waves. Well, with the availability of putting 3 different lanes on shove with those double teleports, it could be the opportunity that they're looking for.
Really hard to dive a team that has a Gragas in it as well. Thresh with the Lanterns, and the Lucian can be quite slippery. But this is where the Cassiopeia that we mentioned earlier comes into play. And realistically, you put a 1-3-1 into effect, you have a Kassadin somewhere, you have the Aurelia in the opposite side of the map, and your 3 people are mid, the Chiefs would dive you. They would actually just 5-man go in, take you out, they'd either poke you off, or they would immediately start the Baron and force the teleports, because they just have a better control point right now around those neutral objectives. And that's where this all starts to come back to point A. Already, you need better warding, or you need to get into areas more efficiently to set up that control to actually play better League of Legends, not reactive League of Legends. They need to be forward-thinking and proactive.
Yeah, and I feel like that has been what's lacking as well. So, of course, the Chiefs now with the Renekton in their composition as well, probably fearing the late game a little bit more than they otherwise were, because it had a lot of tools getting them there. I mean, Cassiopeia and Jhin scale unbelievably well. I understand that. But, I mean, in one position, they have something that is going to fall off in the late game, and Aurelia certainly does not. So Direwolves might be able to just relax a little bit and try their very best to deny these neutral picks, because if they can just stop them from happening, I feel like that late game could be an opportunity for them, and they have a strategy as we hop out of the pause.
Yeah, you could default to outscaling, but the real concern, and it's something that we'll come back and talk about as well, is the Black Cleaver choice from Swiper is actually really good at augmenting Ray's damage and making that Jhin even more of a big deal if he's team fighting and hitting the back line. If the Chiefs win a fight, then Swiper's impact is still going to be quite prevalent, but it's all about ensuring that Chippies doesn't kill you.
Whoa, speaking of killing people, Spooks in trouble. Nice Deadly Flourish comes out there as the ultimate use from Swiffer. Curtain call, tags Sybil once, but it's cancelled there by Raze as he gets destroyed by Radier. Just picks off the AD carry. Now looking for more. It's taking a long time to kill him, but he does eventually die.
Swiper's got a big flank as well.
Possibly
Not
Hughes,
choosing
of
the
course.
fight.
Yeah, Sybil actually died. Not quite sure how during that.
Yeah, the
Just
Swift.
watching- Yeah, Radier is Swiper gonna get hooked in the Dominus. He's happy to tank up a turret, not too worried at all, and they'll just brute force this one, take down the outer, and Chiefs will get a couple of kills and a turret.
Yeah, Raze may go down, but Raider follows, so the damage is still matched from both of these teams. However, Sybil was poked out by Raze damage already, so we do get to see how this one pans out. That is very silly from Raze.
That's very cheeky as well, as Radier is able to pick that one up. And then, yeah, Sybil sort of caught-chopping a little bit.
Yeah. Again, unfortunate. Both of them are playing for the team, not looking at themselves, the spatial awareness a little bit.
Surprise Crocodile, man. I mean, hate to see it.
You don't often get surprise crocodiles. They're usually
No.
giant dinosaur-looking beasts that just like slowly lumber at you.
Don't they have some of the highest burst acceleration in the animal kingdom?
Yeah, if they're actually like dashing at you. The weird thing is this
the
one
only
can
animal
hold
knowledge that I have.
this
Just
one
throwing
can
it
hold
out
a
there.
sword and actually like twirl at you.
Hey, that's true.
Slightly more intimidating and immediate.
Very good point. As Radier gets tagged by a Winter's Bite at the moment, but no aggression out of the Chiefs just yet. Hook picks the gap. That is a goal. He's looking for more.
Sorry, you just had me thinking about like animal facts. It's like
No, right?
the average snake can't actually throw their fangs at you either. That's an unusual thing that happens in League of Legends.
Hey, true. And you know, most cats can't turn into ladies. This one can.
Oh boy.
We don't have any animals on the side of the Direwolves though, which is interesting. Kind of ironic considering their name.
They just are wolves.
Hey, that's true. Don't even have to be animal champions.
These
It's
two
Chippies,
going,
yeah,
yeah.
jumping onto Swiper. He's going to turn this one around. Has the Randuins, uses it for the slow as Chippies. Blade surging his way around, and he's going to be absolutely fine.
Yeah, if he doesn't die, he doesn't lose trades too heavily. Of course, he's an Aurelia, so can auto-attack and get all of his health back. But that is the ultimate now burned by Swiper.
Yep.
And with the objective being looked at,
Ooh, yeah, Spook's in trouble. Has to pounce his way out. Culling, really good position as Fantix can't quite find the kill, but Spook's so close to dead, and Sybil's going to be able to lock it down. It's two
Chippies
easy
is
ones there for the Direwolves, and Chippies throws out the Transcendent Blades. Look at the body slam from Sybil as Razor's being locked down. Good ultimate from Swiffer and dodges the hook, but the exhaust is there, and Direwolves clean up the Chiefs.
they get 4 members. Swiper, the only person standing, not a factor in that fight. Better teleport from Chippies, but immaculately well played by Sybil. and now they threaten the bottom lane inhibitor of the Chiefs' base.
And Swiper's saying, I don't have my Dominus. I can't do anything underneath this inhib turret. And Direwolves looking to try and challenge the 2-0 Chiefs and take us away from that 3-game sweep.
The reverse sweep is still alive for this
It
Direwolves
is.
roster. 27 minutes in, they've got themselves that lead. They are set up decently well. They do have to back away, though, because as I said, it's not actually that late in the game. The Chiefs are up.
And the Direwolves, that will be such a momentum gain as well from them. Really decisive fight, excellent execution. The team has a lot of gold now, 2,000 in the lead.
And this is Fantix actually just getting a massive flank. Nobody saw him there. And it's because the minions were already pushed up, so that's a big mistake from the Chiefs. Brute forcing a Drake when the minions are there for Chippies to teleport to gives him the perfect way in that can then be immediately followed up upon. Fantix gets in Sybil. The flash was fantastic, and they're not good at wow.
Okay, well, they are going to answer immediately as the exhaust comes down now under regret. Good ultimate from Sybil, but doesn't find Raze, who just curtain calls right in the face of the Gragas, and it's 2 picks to answer, and now 5 members of the Chiefs move towards Baron.
And this is the thing, the inhibitor was a great take from the Direwolves, but the sacrifice of that is control around the Baron area because the Chiefs respawn, they immediately walk there and place their vision around it, and now they just take that objective down.
That is just dead so fast. Double Mountain Drake, super important for that one, and Chiefs, Direwolves had a 2,000 gold lead for, you know, a couple of minutes. It's gone.
Maybe a couple minutes, not even that, I don't think. They do trade as best they can, and it's an inhibitor for a Baron as a relative trade, right? The kills are just the other thing that brings us back to this close to even point. One good thing about this, though, Swiper's teleport will be up reasonably soon, and so they have the Baron buff duration with which they can work the rest of the map, try and get more turrets down, try and maybe force the top lane or mid lane inner. But the Direwolves are showing that they're not going to let you just take it. They're not going to just bow down to you. They will fight you for those objectives.
In fact, it looks like the Direwolves will fight you for absolutely anything on the map at the moment. And they'll try and take it, as Fantix and Regret were the ones that were punished for that mentality.
They're a hungry side. They do not want to lose. Even Raider joining this team has shown he's still damn good. It doesn't matter what team he's on.
Also barely matters what champion he's playing as well, as Fantix getting chain CC'd. Uses the Zhonya's, but there are 3 members of the Chiefs. Really good curtain call bullet to come out, and Fantix unable to take the Lantern. Hook lands onto Spooks, who pounces his way out. Interesting little animation interaction there as well, but look, that is the pick potential from this team, and it's terrifying.
Yeah. And they just completely catch Fantix out farming. On the top side of the map, maybe trying to reset the wave, but that's a mistake from Fantix above all else. They have a lot of pick on the Chiefs side. Ejim's able to lock you down with auto attacks, and it is followed by Ray's lockdown. But realistically, what was Fantix doing out there?
Yeah, probably trying to find some farm, but not really the right time. Now down to 1 stack on that Dark Seal as well. Spooks once again hooked. Deadly Flourish doesn't find anyone, and Swiffer doesn't get hit back by the big barrel of Sybil, and he's taken a lot of damage. This inner turret is going to melt as Ejim down to half health, but the Chiefs get what they want, and they look to disengage.
They're definitely looking to get the heck out of there. Cassiopeia having a Rylai's and a W available means that the Direwolves cannot chase. And that's Razor's safest point. He needs to actually start being behind the Cassiopeia. Starting to see the young members of each respective team, Raze, not always positioned perfectly.
Yeah.
Starting to be exploited by the experience of Radar a little bit. 4-1 and 3, still having a great series, all things considered.
Oh, he most certainly is. We'll see whether he can utilize this solution in the late game. It has been something that Radar's been able to do. He's always been a fan of scaling. You know, when in doubt, let's just farm up for the late game, says Radar.
What's his favorite triangle, Atlas?
I don't know.
Scalene. Got him.
That was beautiful.
I'm never saying that again.
I'm really glad that you did, though. just one of those times. I'm just proud. As he is just going to clear out this mid lane as well. Fantix once again off on his own farming things out, but this is what they want to do. The 1-3-1 in effect, but Chiefs just moving through this jungle, taking even more control. They've got lots of vision around this area. Ejim now going to move down. Swiper looking to pick up his GA. Already has it, actually, as he moves out of the base. We'll see whether it's going to be a Titanic Hydra or that Ravenous for some more sustain the next item as he picks up this minion wave that was shoved into him by Fantix.
And threatening through the bottom side of the jungle here. Sybil has flash, so the Gragas can get on top of you, but it's the rest of the Chiefs that are causing the present issues. They've got the pink wards, they've got vision control through most of the red side jungle of the Direwolves, and it's more about pressuring bottom, pushing bottom, and then rotating, but they're actually caught.
Yeah, Ejim in so much trouble. Throws down the ultimate, the exhaust down onto Fantix, but Raze unable to offer too much back. Spooks launching himself onto Radiant, but Swiffer's going to die to Sybil, and now Spook's running the wrong direction. This is a disaster for the Chiefs. Chippy's now trying to deal with Swiper. He will have an Equilibrium Strike stun and gets it as Fantix is able to turn up. The Force Pulse for the slow Chippies might die, and he does as Swiper locks that one down. GA now used as Radiant does have to be a little bit careful. There's now Swiper continuing to look for more, but he just gets thrown around like a rag doll in the hands of regret, and Raze, the last man standing.
And Raze is just running for his life. I don't think Sybil will be able to catch him with this minion wave crashing, however Fantix can. And here we go.
Yeah, and there's no turret here, remember. Barrel doesn't find Raze. Ghostblade, I don't think is going to be enough as Ejim turns up, but not soon enough. And the Direwolves look to take down this inhibitor one more time.
If Raze lived, that inhibitor may not have fell because Swiffer is up, but they get it once more. So the second time we see this bottom lane inhibitor fall, the Direwolves' resilience is showing right now. Radair is showing up massive as well. And this all starts, as we said, the Chiefs are working around the jungle. They're trying to play around it, and Swiffer gets caught out through that exact jungle when there's no vision of him. So that's incredible, firstly.
Yeah.
They're able to assassinate and take down Ejim at the exact same time. And so they're just not a team. Like, plain and simple, the Chiefs, they're looking to rotate to help out Ejim who's caught. They get caught in rotation, and the Chiefs are made pay.
Just beautifully executed by the Direwolves, honestly. Good play from Radiant. Instant Mercurial Scimitar as well. I don't think the Petrifying Gaze hit from Swiffer. Or either it didn't look like it hit.
It hit.
Because of how quickly he used that particular item. Now looking for what seems like a rapid fire cannon. And Fantix has a Void Staff. This guy is so big.
Yeah, he's got his items. They're past that point where the Chiefs snowballed on them. And they have scaled with their composition. Ray's really not having a big impact at the moment.
No.
Still does a lot of damage, but it just hasn't felt like it's there, even in comparison to Radair.
Well, you can see Swiper actually is looking for his second damage item in the Ravenous Hydra. Wants to do as much damage in an AoE around him as possible, really disrupt this Direwolves team composition, which is relatively low range. It's getting dangerous because Chippies is continuing to scale. He's going to get so tanky as this game moves on. Even Regret switched over to that Talisman, so they do have engage options on the side of the Direwolves. They can just run at people. Throw down that Shirelias as Spooks tags Radier for a fair bit of damage.
Does still need a Void Staff himself. Spooks unfortunately has to go Zonia's first and doesn't get as much gold as everybody else on the team. So he's a while away from spiking as...
Yay. A bit of a wet noodle fight, you might say.
One that Chippies is winning.
Most certainly is. Another Equilibrium Strike, but Dominus comes down and Swiper says, "You've made me angry now." Flashes on top, gets himself the stun. More of Malmortius goes off as Chippies has so much sustain now. Trying to bring this one back. Blade Surge comes in. Swiper is going to fall as Radier somehow grabs the kill. Really good ultimate from Swiffer, but is it going to be enough? As the Culling's just eaten by the door. Fantix exhausted. Really good Deadly Flourish in the backline as the ultimate's flying through from Raze. Shuts down Radier with the longest shot I have ever seen. Cancels it, and now he's trying to find more.
He accidentally killed Raider. There is no other way around that. 48
no, I'm giving
seconds
him credit. Giving him credit.
On the Lucian, and that's now Chippies and Raider dead. Swiffer does well to live. And that was a miraculous bullet.
Yeah.
He didn't just like curve the bullet, he split the wicket as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, have you seen that movie Wanted with Angelina Jolie?
He's actually Shane Warne.
No. No.
Okay, just watch this, all right? Like, Raider, he did miss. He has to flash over the wall, means he has no flash available.
Yep, and then the flipper's going to come in. Is that what we're waiting for?
I swear to God, he is not looking for Raider. He's looking for Fantix here.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah, that was right between the posts. Just ridiculous. Still going to say that he meant it.
Go!
6 points. As Sybil now getting pushed away, the Chiefs are able to lock down this Baron buff as the ultimate flies through under Regret. Chippies has found himself in the backline, but maybe doesn't want it. Transcendent Blades is doing a bit of work, but he can't get the kill onto Raze, who immediately throws down the ultimate, looking to stop Regret. And he is going to be able to flash his way out, but not quite far enough as the Chiefs just decide not to go in.
And they do get the next Baron buff. The Elder Dragon is present, though, and the Chiefs are not in a position to contest it. They've actually gone back to base. Home Guards will help them out in getting there. The question is about how they get there, because Swiffer is the target right now. They may just find an Ejim on their way through, though, incidentally.
Yeah, Ejim is going to get exploded. Sybil picks up the kill. Miasma flies down as the Chiefs continuing to try and look for this. Remember, now a 4v4 as Swipe is going to turn up. Spears unable to find the targets. Barrel does. And Swiper's going to get hooked. Can they deal with this guy early enough as the Dominus flies through? Sybil now caught out by the deadly Flourish, and Raze able to set himself up. Almost has his ultimate backup cooldown as Radier now off to the side. Ghostblade down as Raze flashes for him. Duskblade goes off. Doesn't get the W down onto him, and Fantix has to be so careful. Radier going to try and skirt past where he can as Swiper gets himself the stun. Throws down the Tiamat as well. Max range spear from Spooks is going to do it.
He can't ult.
Yeah, Zonya's, he's on top of the Miasma as well. Really nice play from Swiffer, and the Chiefs get 4 for nothing.
They don't just get a Baron. They go back to base and they get pick after pick with Ejim dead. And now it's just Chippies against the Baron buff team that has the biggest late game damage spike in existence. And now they push the base.
That inhibitor and inhibitor turret did not last very long at all. They're actually looking to try and end this game with Baron minions.
They can do it.
They most certainly can. Look at these
There's 3 up.
structures melt. In goes the Direwolves. Home Guard is helping. The ultimate comes out from Swiffer, but Raze, he's the focus. He's pushed out of the fight. Chippies gets on top of him. The turret's going to help out there as well.
Chippies is still
as
here.
you can see, the Chiefs looking to try and just take down the Nexus. Chippies is going to fall down. Sybil now trying to be the hero, but the Chiefs say all we want is that grand final, and they're going to take it. The Nexus explodes, and the Chiefs will be joining Legacy in Brisbane.
A 3-0 victory for the Chiefs. That doesn't feel like a 3-0, honestly. That was the hardest fought second and third game that I have seen. They get pushed to the wire, but they do come out victorious. The experienced roster of the Chiefs, backed by the young talent of Raze. A well-deserved victory.
Most certainly was. A dominant victory as well out of the Chiefs. They're going to shake the hands of the Direwolves. Derek getting a hug from Simon there as well. Swiffer and Raider, of course, playing together for such a long time. Swiper there as well. The big grin of Brandon Swiper Holland. Always beautiful to see. And still a smile for Raider as well. Still a lot of compassion between these players, but it is going to mean another Legacy Chiefs grand final here for the OPL.
That's right. Both of those teams are going to Brisbane now, and it feels like deja vu, but you have to give credit where it's due to that Direwolves performance as well. Raider showed that he can swap teams, but still has that top-tier level of AD carry performing.
He most certainly does. And I mean, big shout out to Regret as well. Those hooks were fantastic, picking out Spooks a whole bunch of times. Sybil as well, looking brilliant on the Gragas in game number 3.
Absolutely was. It was, honestly, Direwolves looked good, but it just was not enough to crack the Chiefs. It was just the inhibitor. That's as much as they got.
Didn't quite manage to get it done, but we are going to throw it back to the analyst desk to break down that final game of the series.
Thank you, Rusty and Atlas. Oh my goodness, we have our finalists set aside now. It is the El Clasico.
And I, for one, am shocked, thing is, at the fact that it is once again Legacy versus the Chiefs. I could not have seen that coming from a mile away.
But a brave third game from Direwolves. We shouldn't take anything away from them. But games 2 and 3, market improvements on game 1.
I think that you can definitely say that. And I just want to shout out Fantix, Radier in that last game because the two veterans really stepped up. I mean, Fantix Cassidy was honestly really good in that last game. He cleaned up a lot of back-end team fights, had some really good flanks. And Radier, where it mattered, he actually was willing to go aggressive again. And that's something that the young Radier used to do, diving into these fights, picking up clutch kills.
Yeah, we saw some really hype moments for Radier, something that wanted to see a little more in game 1, but he really went off, I think.
Yeah, it feels great. It feels great. That we now have our finalists. I also want to ask you guys about game 3. We've nailed it. I mean, do you think that's reflective of kind of how the teams had played throughout the season? I mean, we saw Direwolves really dominate for portions of the split. I mean, going down 3-0 in the semifinals.
You picked him, LaPlasm. What do you think?
I did, and the main reason I picked Direwolves came down to I thought the synergy, or at least more so how Rays would fit into the team. I thought it would be a difficult choice. I thought it would be a great choice in the long run, but he really fit in like a shoe.
Yeah, I think that the important thing to take away from this, especially if you're Legacy, is that don't try and win out on top lane on the Chiefs right now. I mean, Swiper's in form, and I think that we've just proven time and time again that the Chiefs collapse around their top lane better than anyone else. I mean, Choo-Choo's is popping off at the moment, King is, and even in that set, Radiant and Fantix were going nuts. I think that if they give more priority to the bottom half of the map, that becomes a much easier set to win. I just really don't believe in this camping out top lane to beat the Chiefs Esports Club anymore. It just doesn't work.
All right, well, right now we are waiting for an interview to come onto your screens. I think we can throw it to Atlas with one of the players in the war room.
Thank you very much, Hingers, and I'm here with Simon Swiffer Papamarcus after their 3-game victory over the Direwolves. Of course, a team that has been a bit of a stumbling block for you guys in the past, but my goodness, that was pretty decisive. You were actually almost considered the underdogs, although you guys weren't actually thinking that going into this game.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to clarify, even though it was 3-0, it was actually incredibly difficult to close, the last 2 games rather. So, they improved dramatically from, what we thought that they could, show. And I don't know how much that has to do with Derek going there and giving them, veteran experience or anything, but they played really, really well.
Yeah, they most certainly did. And I actually want to touch on that as well. Of course, changing AD carry before a semi-final with a week in order to practice, that's a really gutsy move. Of course, it's paid off now. Were you as confident? Was this what your team needed to try and revitalize?
Well, I think the majority of the team realized that this was more a long-term move. We thought that with Direwolves in their current, or then perceived current form, that we would be able to beat them regardless of who our AD carry was. And obviously they improved dramatically in between that time frame. But this was mainly, the switch was mainly due to our underperformance internationally, which we wanted to rectify as soon as possible. And we thought that Raze being a young, moldable AD carry would better suit our interests. In saying that also, we could have done a lot more to kind of help Derek, I suppose, become that player. But by that stage, I think it's a reflection on, it's a poor reflection on us as teammates that we weren't able to do that. But yeah, Raze is fitting in really, really well. So,
Most certainly is. It looked actually fantastic in all 3 of those games as well. I got one final question. We are moving into the grand final in Brisbane. It's going to be Legacy versus Chiefs one more time. Woo. That's going to be your ticket internationally. And how are you feeling about the Legacy matchup at the moment?
Pretty much the same way that I always do at this point. I mean, they beat us in the regular split. So, I mean, they have that one. They have that momentum going in, I guess, although that was quite a while ago and we were slumping, so whatever. So that's fine. I think we'll just go into it and we'll probably win 3-1, I assume. Maybe 3-2. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds? Not me. Anyway, so yeah.
Well, we'll see whether it is going to be a Chiefs victory, but I'll take that as confidence. And thank you very much, Swiffer. Congratulations one more time. We'll see whether you can get that OPL Legend belt back as well in that grand final, as that will certainly be on the line at the same time. But that's going to be it from us. Back to you, Hingers.
Thank you, Atlas. Indeed, who knows what the future will hold. We heard from Swiffer there. Their sights are on international duty. That means they're very confident going into this final, right, Spawn?
That certainly does mean what it is. I think that is a little bit of bravado. I think that the Chiefs really do respect Legacy quite a bit more than what that interview depicted.
Yeah.
And I think that especially with Choose in his current form and Syndra coming back into the meta, you better watch out for yourself, Simon, because Aaron is a very good player right now.
Yep. On top of that, I love the fact that they mentioned international competition, right? Because that was what they were always looking for. So stopping just short of getting a victory and going into Worlds, it's going to be a...
And don't get me wrong.
Attitude kind of it can stop them up there,
No,
right?
domestic play is really important to both these teams, Legacy and Chiefs.
Yeah.
But it's a winning and then go and do something with it. I mean, they're both huge believers of this. And Oceania as a region, we should have gone to Worlds last year. I mean, Bangkok Titans, we beat them both times in the group stage and then lost in the final.
Yeah.
I mean, if Legacy or Chiefs go internationally represent, winning this tournament, it's great. It's a great start, but it isn't enough. They do want to perform on the world stage, which is fantastic.
Let's talk about this generational change. We saw the swap that we talked about in the interview just then. We 80 carries. We're also seeing it's one of the pillars of Oceanic League of Legends, swapping out for 17-year-old Raze, young guy, generational change. Talk us through what that means for the future of the Chiefs going into this final.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I'm really into like Team Hounds mentality. I talked to Carbon about it a fair bit as well, and they do a great job over at Legacy. And the Chiefs have been very public that they didn't think were doing a good job of it. Now they have a 17-year-old in the house in Raze. There's 5 years between him and the next youngest Chiefs member. I mean, that's huge. They're all 22. So I think that this is going to be a do or die moment. If the Chiefs esports clubs don't get their infrastructure right, if Raze is like slumps in a similar way that Radier did, this could be a really bad move. But in the same time, if they get it right, 17-year-old superstar, best player in the league, in my opinion, this could be huge for the franchise.
Yeah, and they addressed it there, so I think that this is their opportunity, and I think they're taking it seriously.
All right, well, we are now going to talk about the final. So let's bring up that schedule for the grand final. It's going to be in Brisbane. The Curiamel Piazza, August 13. That is next weekend. And here is the schedule. 5:30, our pre-show kicks off. And then 6 p.m, we have our teams locked in now. Legacy versus Chiefs, El Clasico of the OPL. These two teams, this could be Legacy's first time to beat Chiefs in a final, right? Chiefs won it twice before, and now Legacy, they're looking to, they're hungry.
Yeah, exactly right. Last time they beat them was Winter, and they were avant-garde at that stage. So, Legacy now their own independent organization. I think that this is such a good grudge match. I know that they will be confident going into a best-of-5 LAN. That's where Legacy thrive. They haven't been able to get in the last couple of times, but, something feels right this year.
I mean, Spawn, you and I are going to be at that analyst desk in Brisbane for that. But Raz, you're going to be missing out because you're going to be casting the LPL when that happens. So let's get your thoughts on this single
Slight tier coming down.
Let's get your thoughts on this final before we go there. I mean, who are you going to pick? I mean, given that you did pick Direwolves tonight, who are you going to pick in this Legacy Chiefs final?
I think Chiefs will take it, but I think it'll go to Game 4 once again.
Game 4?
So you're going to give it 3-1?
3-1.
Yeah.
And what part of the map are you looking at, buddy? What part of the map are you looking at?
I'm looking towards the bottom lane for Chiefs. I think that they've shown some great points in this set, and it'll only get better.
All right, well, now we have it. Our final is going to be, again, Chiefs versus Legacy next weekend at the Brisbane Piazza. You'll be able to watch it there or online or at Hoyt Cinemas. But that is enough from us tonight. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next weekend. Cheers. Bye.